Welcome back to my channel. I'm back at my Syndicate for a 72-hour. Here Monday morning till Thursday morning. And it's looking good. I've only been fishing for about an hour. I've already seen a couple of fish show. But they're showing over the very far margin, but quite close towards the bank, and it's a bit unfishable. It's very shallow and it's full of Canadian pondweed. So there's two swans on this lake. They tend to keep out your way, so they're not a problem. Quite nice to see. So weather-wise, it's going to be mainly dry this week, with the odd shower, but the temperature's dropped. So last week it was 14-15 degrees during the day, maybe about 8 degrees on a night. Now it's 9 or 10 degrees during the day, going down to 4 degrees on a night. So it's dropped a little bit, but I'm hoping it won't make any difference here with the water being so deep. Obviously it takes a lot longer for this water to drop in temperature. There's a majority of it's only, well, it's 25 foot deep in a lot of it. So when I arrived, I had the marker rod out, I had a bare lead on it, I was casting around. I knew of a spot that I've caught from before, which is over towards this area, about 2/3 of the way out, where it's relatively clear of weed. It's in about 14 foot of water. So I've caught from that area before. So I've ended up putting all 3 rods in that area using solid bags. And then I had a good lead around this margin here. But it's very shallow. I didn't fancy it. Also had a lead around in front of me here, because it gets quite deep, only a couple of rod lengths off the bank. It's about 12 foot deep, just literally rod length and a half, 2 rod lengths out from this swim. But the weed's really thick. You could fish chods over it, but I didn't fancy fishing solid bags in that area, so I was tempted to put my left hand rod out in the middle in the deep water, but every time I've done that I've had nothing, so I'm just not confident fishing in that deep water at this moment in time. I think that might be a winter tactic, using zigs. So there's not much wind, so it's lovely, very comfortable. So fingers crossed that we get something on the bank during this visit. It's looking promising. Good morning. It's about 6:15. I sometimes get up about this time, especially once the birds start, about 5:30. So I quite often just get up, and it can sometimes be the best time to see any signs of fish. But it was an uneventful night, which is a shame. I was really hoping to get something possibly on the first night, but it wasn't meant to be. So I'll just have to keep on trying. So there's a bird which sounds very much like one of my fox bite alarms. So every time that decides to go, I leap up thinking it's my alarm. But yeah, no, it's a lovely place. I'm just waking up with a coffee, first coffee of the day, so lovely place, nice and peaceful. Nice lake, and fishing's just a bonus. So, I'll talk to you a little bit about the stock that's in here. There's a lot of really nice looking fish in here. As far as we're aware up to now, the only carp that are in here are what the Syndicate has stocked. So we're in April 2022 now, so the two guys that run the Syndicate, they stocked the lake in, I think it was around January time 2021. They put, I think, 18 Croats in. Not too sure what the weight was, but let's just say they went from, I don't know, £9 to £15. So I think out of them 18 fish, I think there's still 4 or 5 that maybe haven't even been caught yet. The ones that were caught last year have all put a good bit of weight on. Some of them 2 to 3 pounds. So, like, there's a common in here that's now up to the weight of about £18. So they're putting on weight, and the fish are thriving. There's a lot of natural food in this lake because it's a weedy water. I mean, it's crystal clear, the water, really good quality. So yeah, there's a lot of natural food. You know, if you cast into any weeds and you bring the weed back in on your line, you pull it off and it's just full of little snails and little insects and things. So they don't need to rely on carp anglers putting bait in to survive. You know, there's plenty of natural food in here, and that's why they're thriving so well, putting on a bit of weight. So yeah, so we've got 18 of those, which are fast growing Croats, and then last year in November they stocked 6 more. They weren't Croats, I think they were just leany dinks or some sort of strain, and they range from, I think it was about £18 to £22. So 6 more went in, and then they've just had 15 go in just recently, and they were from the I Heart Carp fish farm, which are like somewhere in between the sort of koi carp and just like a mirror carp. They're very nice on the eye. They look like just little stunners, if I'm honest. So they didn't go in very big. I think they went in from about £7 to about £12, something like that. But to be honest, even if you caught the smallest of them, it would make a good photo. Like the proper little stunners, really nice, very scaly. So yeah, you'd still be happy to catch one of them. Well, I would be anyway. So that's it for as far as carp in there. So we know there's roughly up, 30 odd to maybe 40 carp in the lake. Previously this was like a day ticket lake, and it was heavily stocked with carp, but I believe it got KHV, so we think all of the carp died. because nothing else has came out. We're always hoping that there's something original left in the lake, carp-wise, but nothing's came out yet, so we can't believe that idea until something comes out, if it ever does. But there is bream in here, which were from like the previous lake. So there's bream been getting caught, £10, £11, so big bream. So as long as if I was to catch one, if I catch it during the day, I don't mind. I'd be a bit gutted catching one during the night, but I don't mind catching a bream during the day, if I'm honest. Not if they're £10, £11, something like that. It's a good size. There's a rumour that there's possibly a tench. A couple of guys reckon they've seen a tench in here. So that'll be interesting if there is. So, looks like it's going to be a nice morning. The sun's coming out. So, I'll leave you to it. I'll keep on doing not a lot. I'll keep the rods out till probably about 10 AM. They've been out since 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Keep them in till 10. If I haven't had a bite, I'll bring them in, refresh them all, get them back out there. And then I'll probably bring them back in again at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, refresh them again, chuck them out, and then they'll be out again for the night. So I'm doing all I can, if I'm honest. You're very limited to what you can do. I would rather fish over an area which I know is relatively clear. And just do it that way, if I'm honest. If I didn't work away so much, and if I could pop by the lake more regular, then I would probably maybe rake an area just a couple of rod lengths out from the swim, rake an area, clear the weeds, and start putting bait in every week and just get a spot going, which I know some of the lads are doing. Fair play to them, but unfortunately I can't do that really, because I'm away for half the year, and when I am home, that's when I want to be fishing. I don't want to be coming down and just putting 5 kilo of bait on a spot, because I want to fish it and try and catch something. So yes, that's why I just fish the way I do. I fish on areas which are already relatively clear, and just hope for the best really. So sticking with solid bags for 2 reasons. One, it just gives me that bit more confidence that my rig's presented, and 2, I just want to fish. I just want to provide a mouthful of bait at a time for them. I think when I've fished before and I've spommed over the top, I think it's not done me any favours. So I think this is the type of water where you just have to fish for a bite at a time. I think there's a time and a place for spomming. This isn't the time or the place, personally. So yeah, I'll just fish small solid bags, and yeah, fingers crossed. So we're off the mark. Something I really wasn't expecting. It was getting on for that time where I bring my rods in. So I brought my first 2 in. I was winding in the 3rd one, and didn't feel anything on. I was winding in pretty quick. Then all of a sudden there was a bit of an explosion in the water, and I see we had something on the end which I really wasn't expecting to catch. A little jack pike. Look at that. So it grabbed the hook bait just as I was winding it in. It must have thought it was a fish or something. But I'll tell you what, it's covered in little bugs. couldn't tell you what they are. They look like little leeches. I'm going to put it back for a minute. Yeah, it's covered in like little leeches. Must be little things that live off it, so I'll try and take them off. So I'll get it out once more, show the camera again. I've got to be honest, I don't know how to hold them properly. I know you're meant to put your finger in its gill or something, but I don't want to do it any damage, so I'd rather just hold it the safest way I know. Like you say, it's only a little jack pike. I'm presuming just a couple of pound. But my first ever pike, and I wasn't even trying to catch it. Brilliant. They've got lovely colours on them. The heads are so prehistoric. Pretty cool fish. I understand why people target them. Right, I'll put you back in the net. Well, that's a turn up for the books. Well, it's a fish. Happy with that. So I thought I'd give you an update. As you can see on the boards, I've got my baiting pole. So one of the regular anglers who does well here, he came and paid me a visit, and he told me about a small spot a bit closer in. So I was able to use my baiting pole to get to that. So that's now my left hand rod, fishing not very far out in front of this swim. So I didn't use the baiting pole to put the rig out because I'm using a solid bag, and I just swung it out. But what I've done is I've put a couple of handfuls of pellet just with the pole, and that's just gone in that area to try and draw them in. So, slight change of plan. So the other two rods are still out, roughly in the same area. But after speaking to Wayne, who came and visited me, I've brought them a little bit closer towards me, and we'll see if that makes any difference. So just short of 40 yards out for those two rods. So we'll see what the night brings. Keep our fingers crossed and hope we get a carp. If not, I've still got plenty of things I can be watching. I like to catch up on Formula 1, MotoGP and any other bike racing while I'm not doing much on the bank. Try and use my time wisely so I don't have to watch it at home. But yeah, we've had a bit of rain today, mixed weather conditions, but it's quite nice and flat now. So we'll see what happens. The lake was very quiet last night. There wasn't really anything showing, but I have seen a couple swim past this swim, just a couple of rod lengths out, just in the shallow water. A couple of the young carp that have just recently gone in. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully I'll be updating you through the night with a carp. If not, I'll see you in the morning. So it's been very quiet, which seems to be a growing trend with me. It's now Wednesday afternoon, it's about 3 o'clock. So I'm over 48 hours now into my session. I've got nothing to show for it other than a jack pike that I caught by accident. The fish haven't been showing. I have spotted a couple close into the margin which were just swimming along, they weren't feeding. But yeah, they haven't been showing anywhere else on the lake. So, you know, I never felt that a move would have benefited myself because I didn't see anything. But yeah, I've a slight change of plan. I've still got my left hand rod short, close into this bank that I'm on here. My right hand rod is where I've been fishing the last couple of days. And now my middle rod, because there's no one else on the lake, I've cast it towards an area which is normally fished from the peg over the other side of the lake, which was about a 65-yard cast from here. So I'll put a solid bag there. So yeah, when I started fishing here on Monday, I had all my eggs in one basket. I was fishing all 3 rods in an area, and then obviously after 24 hours nothing had happened, so I was starting to wonder if I need to sort of branch out a little bit. So that's why I've now got each rod in a different area of the lake. I'm just trying to locate them. I'm still happy with how I'm fishing. All 3 of them are in clear areas in a good depth. I'm avoiding the deep water because I'm 99% sure that the carp aren't in the deep water. They are swimming in the margins. I have seen them, but I just don't think they're feeding with much sort of gusto at this point in time. I think we're still in, we are still in spring, and with this being a deep lake, I think it's behind other lakes in the area by a few weeks when it comes to feeding. So I do think that in the next couple of weeks, I think this lake will turn on, and I think that the carp will then start feeding with much more sort of gusto. But at the moment I think it's just starting to wake up. But yeah, I'm confident. So I recast the rods at 11 o'clock this morning. Each rod went out as good as it could. Really happy with where they all landed and the drop I got on them. I was planning on bringing them back in around now and freshen them up, but I'm not. And I'm not because I was really happy with how they went out. So I want to keep the disturbance down to a minimum, so I'm going to leave them out. A rod will only get recast from now if I get anything on it. So yeah, I'm still holding out with a bit of hope and optimism. I'm still happy with how I've fished so far this session. I still think I've done the right thing by not putting bait out. I just think it's still early in the year, and I think fishing bags or singles is still the way to nick a bite on this lake. So yeah, I'll carry on hoping, and hopefully I'll nick a bite. But if not, once again, it's been lovely. Really enjoyed my time. It's nice to have the lake to yourself, which doesn't always happen, but it does often happen with fishing during the week. And yeah, it's all good. The fish would be a bonus though. So I'll leave you to it. Hopefully I'll update you with a fish. If not, I'll be packing down in the morning, probably quite early. I think once I get up, have a coffee and whatnot, I do think that probably before 8 o'clock I'll start packing down, and should be off the lake by 9 o'clock maybe. But as you can see, I'm wearing my winter suit, so it is still a bit nippy. It's probably about 7 degrees during the day, drops down to about 3 on a night, so still spring weather. hence why the fishing's not great, and hence why the carp aren't showing that much. They're still just that little bit dormant, but it will switch on over the next few weeks, unfortunately, while I'm away working. But I am sure that May will be the month where it all kickstarts. So yeah, never mind. I will be back on here hopefully the end of May, if not the very beginning of June, and I should have time for 2 48-hour sessions when I'm home next time, and yeah, see what happens. Good morning. Unfortunately, it was another quiet evening. Never mind. So I'm going to call it a session and get packed up, get home. Hopefully when I return the end of May, the lake will have switched on. We'll start seeing a lot more shows, and hopefully the carp will be feeding a lot more. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.